Welcome to a new millennium, folks. Y2K is a distant memory of the past, and a certain new console is coming out of Japan with a brand new launch title by Free Radical Design. There is nothing like that hit of nostalgia. TimeSplitters was an FPS series that consisted of 3 games that were released on the PlayStation 2 between 2000 and 2005. After years and years of speculation about a 4th game and stop-start development of multiple remasters, at least we now have a way to play this classic series on the PS5 with the added bonus of trophy support. Each game consists of a story, challenges, and various miscellaneous trophies to pick up during our playthrough, so let's go ahead and make a start on the first game. The first game in the series was the launch title on the PlayStation 2. It was developed by a team of former GoldenEye developers, so it had a lot of pedigree, but it also had a lot to live up to. So, first things first, let's get the story completed. Now, I do use the word story loosely for the first game because what we actually have is a series of mission objectives to obtain time crystals from various different time periods ranging from 1935 to 2035, which by the way is only 10 years from now, which is kind of crazy to think about. For the first mission, we went tomb raiding in the year 1935 to not only obtain our first time crystal, but also our first trophy. For our next trophy, we go forward in time to 1970s China. Next up, it's time to go forward 35 years to a secret underground bunker in the year 2005. Before we jump back in time to shoot some zombies in a 1950s village. We continue jumping back and forth between different time periods until we finish by boarding a rocket located in a spaceport in the year 2035. I will say, as a lover of all things space, one can only dream that we will have universal access to space travel within the next 10 years. Along the way to completing the story, I also unlocked the trophy for completing a level with full health. So, with the story missions completed, it's time to move on to the challenges. Challenges are a staple part of the TimeSplitters series and range from shooting zombies in the face to throwing bricks through windows. Arguably the hardest part about the challenges in the first game are honestly just the dated controls. There are 9 sets of challenges in total set across the different time periods in the game, and each set contains 3 different variations of said challenge: A, B, and C. You only get a trophy for completing C for each time period, but you have to complete A and B first to even unlock C, which means we have 27 challenges to complete, so let's get cracking. First up, it's time to take on the zombie horde. Completing 1A, B, and C nets the first challenge-related trophy. Next up, we head to the docks to take on challenge set number 2. We finish the next set of challenges, proving our worth against the mutant army. So, from there, I finished the rest of the challenges, which encompass smashing glass, defending Elvis, yes, really, stop the bank heist, had a team deathmatch in a supermarket, dug up some bones in a graveyard, before stepping into a war with the TimeSplitters on Planet X. And with the final challenge completed, that's the first game done and the first platinum achieved. Now, let's head to 2002. Doesn't that intro just sound so good? TimeSplitters 2 was released in October 2002, and it felt like a huge step forward in terms of gameplay and now includes new characters and an improved story mode. We are now just a couple years into the life cycle of the PS2, and there is a lot of competition around from all the heavy hitters in gaming, but TimeSplitters is still holding down that couch co-op scene. The second game is arguably the fan favourite of the series, and it's actually the game that I played the most during my childhood. I remember the days of playing local co-op and running around the Wild West map trying to escape AI bots in virus mode, or dual-wielding Tommy guns on the old Chicago map against Duckman, Drake and Calamari, just to name a few. In terms of the game's structure, we still have a story and a challenge mode, but we also now have the addition of arcade mode, but we'll get into that more a bit later. Much like the first game, each mission is set in a different time period, and the objective is to obtain the time crystal and escape back through the portal. The big difference, however, is we now have cutscenes and additional mission objectives that we need to complete in order to pick up the trophy for the level. There are a total of 21 trophies on offer, so let's make a start on the story.
Good work.
In the opening cutscene, we see that the two main characters for the game, Sergeant Cortez and Corporal Hart, are sent to a space station in the year 2401 to confront the Time-Splitters and retrieve the time crystals. But before they can recover them, the alien race jump through the portal, scattering the crystals in various moments in human history. So, Sergeant Cortez's mission is simple: follow the Time-Splitters into the main portal to secure humanity's future.
Good luck.
Thanks. Control, come in. Stupid radio.
Making the first time jump, he arrives in Siberia in the 1990s to discover that he has taken the form of a spy who is there to investigate mysterious accidents at a secret research facility under a Siberian dam.
To me now.
So, to ensure that time remains intact, his goal is to now complete each person's original objective in their respective timeline, whilst also collecting the time crystal and escaping back to the space station. Completing all objectives in Siberia gets us the first trophy of the playthrough. Now it's on to 1930s Chicago.
Chicago. And I've had a belly full of it. Everyone's on the take. The DA, City Hall, even the cops on the beat, being paid to turn a blind eye. But me? Nah, I couldn't.
Whilst in Chicago, we stopped off at O'Leary's bar to play a spot of pool to obtain the Pool Shark trophy. Then, with our dual-wielded Tommy guns in hand, we complete the level and head back to the space station. Next stop, Notre Dame. So from there, I continued on playing the story, jumping between past and future, whilst also picking up some miscellaneous trophies along the way. These range from using 15 different weapons in the game, to igniting a gunpowder barrel to release Ramona from jail. In the remaining levels, we make time jumps to the 23rd century to return to Planet X, then make a time jump back to 2019 to stop off in Neo Tokyo, before heading to the Wild West in 1853. With many more stops along the way, all roads eventually lead back to the space station in 2401 to escape the final self-destruct sequence and head back to present-day Earth with the recovered time crystals in hand.
Time to get out of here.
After making our escape, that completes the story mode for the second game. Before I head into arcade mode, I have 2 trophies left to pick up from the story, and they are for collecting a cartridge in 2 of the levels to play a classic game or 2. The first one is located in Siberia, and collecting it allows us to play the Anaconda game. And the second one is located in a locker in Neo Tokyo and allows us to play Astrolander. I did have to reload this level a couple of times before the cartridge was in the locker, but once collected and launched, the trophy popped. Now let's head into arcade mode. The main difference here, compared to the first game, is that challenges have been split into the Arcade League and Challenge mode. The Arcade League has missions split between 3 different leagues, and we have all the classics here, from Team Deathmatch to Capture the Bag, as well as Virus and Thief, etc, etc. But the challenges are still all that fun, goofy stuff we come to expect from the series. In total, we have 66 missions to complete across both modes, with the goal to obtain at least a bronze medal in all arcade matches and challenges, whilst also picking up at least 45 silvers.
Nice! Your fruit killing skills are remarkable.
And 30 golds along the way. Some of these are pretty difficult, especially when you compare them to the first game, but they are all still doable with a bit of practice. So let's get them completed. First trophy up was for completing all challenges in challenge mode. Next up, I completed 30 golds across both modes. Then it was 45 silver medals. And then finally, all arcade matches complete in the Elite League. And with the final trophy, that's the second game done and the second platinum achieved. Now, let's head into Future Perfect, shall we? That's the last time jump, I promise. It's now March 2005, and we are just a couple of years away from the launch of the PlayStation 3. But we aren't done with the PS2 just yet, and we still have one more TimeSplitters game to play. Future Perfect is currently the final time we have seen this series, but as with the second game, it took another massive step forward into the modern day gaming era. The game came with a much more fleshed out story mode, and the gameplay and controls were vastly improved. Future Perfect also took a deeper look at the TimeSplitters species and established Sergeant Cortez as the main protagonist. As well as that, it introduced a brand new concept to the series of Cortez interacting with past and future versions of himself. These interactions happened during missions and got more and more complex and comical as the game went on. The game has a total of 26 trophies to obtain, so let's head into story mode and catch up with Sergeant Cortez.
Cortez? General, what the hell's going on down there?
Following on from the events of TimeSplitters 2, we pick up the story in Future Perfect with Cortez making his way back to Earth in the year 2401. And as expected, his landing doesn't go quite as planned.
Starboard turbine failure. Initiating emergency system. Warning. Warning.
The first thing you notice about the game is the huge step forward it made in terms of gameplay. It's now much closer to how most modern FPS games are played, which is very handy as we will need to complete each level on hard to obtain the platinum. For the first mission, we need to make it back to the rebel base with our squad while surviving an attack by hooded figures and TimeSplitters. Surviving the final onslaught, we make it back to the base and obtain our first trophy of the playthrough.
Team has found that when the crystals are used for time travel, they leave.
Now back at the rebel base, the general informs Sergeant Cortez that the crystals he collected back on the space station are actually used for time travel, and when used, they leave behind an energy residue that the scientists in the lab can now trace back to specific locations. So the sergeant's mission is simple: go back in time and destroy the crystals to hopefully prevent the time splitters from ever being created. So, use the crystals to destroy the crystals. I'm sure I've had that line somewhere, but with stones of some kind. Interesting.
Find the crystals and destroy the lot. How hard could it be?
Anyway, it's time to get to work.
What the? Any chance of a hand?
First stop, a small Scottish island in the year 1924, where we meet Captain Ash. The captain informs us that the island we are trying to get to is about to be destroyed by the Navy. So we join forces to help locate Captain Ash's friend and hopefully find our crystals in the process, all whilst dodging incoming bombs.
Damn it. All right, look. If you can get us to shore without getting us killed, I'll help you find your friend. Okay?
Good show, sir. Consider it done.
About midway through the mission, we are introduced to the brand new mechanic for this game, interacting with our past and future selves.
Hey, up here. What? But you're me. I knew you'd say that. Here. A key. But what does it... You'll figure it out. Just make sure to pass it on when you're done. What the hell just happened?
These interactions happen several times throughout the story and somehow become more and more elaborate as the game goes on. It is pretty cheesy, but to be honest, I really admire the uniqueness. They could have just stuck a random NPC or a lootable chest to obtain and complete mission objectives, but these just added another layer of fun to the overall experience.
Your future self must have. Cortez, wait!
So I continued fighting through soldiers on the way to save Captain Ash's assistant, before taking on a tank with some dynamite. Then we ended the level in a secret underground lair and received our second trophy. Now it's time to head to the 60s and introduce ourselves to the secret agent known as Harry Tipper.
Whoa! Whoa! Damn it!
Wow, man. Are you for real?
Stop that.
Hey, don't horse out, dude.
Who are you?
The name's Tipper, man. Harry Tipper.
As we are now an acting secret agent, it seems only fitting to let out our inner James Bond and show off our stealth skills to pick up the next trophy.
Hey, pretty groovy work, space dude. Looks like you've done this before. Cool.
Sergeant Cortez and Agent Tipper continue using their disguises to power on the blast doors before going loud.
Okay, power is back online. Onwards to Sector 3.
And now the chase is on to locate the mysterious time traveler before they escape.
I'm taking the stairs. The girls like a man who stays in shape.
Over there! Get him!
He got away again! Now how will we find him?
Just missing our chance, the level ends, but we still got our next trophy. So I continued on with the rest of the story the only way Sergeant Cortez knows how.
Damn it! I know what I'm doing.
Hey, you're no zombie.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You go first.
Okay.
teleportation grid needs walking.
Let's blow this popsicle stand.
Oh, Cortez. You're my hero.
I know. It's what I do.
And with Cortez dancing the night away, that's a wrap on the final TimeSplitters story. But we still have arcade mode and challenges to complete before we wrap up the trilogy. But first, it's time to head into Map Maker, create myself a masterpiece, and pick up another trophy. Okay, with that done, let's head into arcade mode.
3, 2, 1, go!
Arcade mode and the challenges are pretty similar in structure to the second game, with just some new additions. In total, there are 27 Arcade League missions across the 3 leagues, and 27 challenges to complete. And as far as the difficulty goes, I do feel that these were the easiest out of the 3 games, but purely just because the gameplay is a lot better in comparison to 1 and 2. We have all the classic game modes returning, but we do have some random unique challenges that have been added, like racing a remote control cat around a track, or electrocuting and curling our primate friends. For the trophies, we need to obtain all bronze medals from the Amateur League, all silver medals from the Honorary League, all gold medals from the Elite League, a total of 10 platinum medals across all leagues, and then finally gold on all of the challenges. And the final trophy is left for collecting all characters. I didn't know about it at the time, but one of the requirements is to complete all Arcade League missions with a gold medal. So it's back into arcade mode to clean up the last 4 remaining medals I needed. After a few attempts, the final gold medal was obtained, which unlocked the All Characters trophy. And with that, the third and final platinum is completed. That's all 3 games completed and 3 brand new shiny platinums added to the collection. Okay, let's just talk for a minute. Honestly, I'm still just very sad that we may never see a direct sequel to this series. Well, at this point, I think it's safe to say we will never see a sequel. Even playing the game now, you can see the fundamentals of a fantastic game that I think the current gaming landscape really needs. In an alternate reality, the third game is a release title on the PlayStation 3 and has a chance to go after the juggernauts that were released with that generation. But unlike the events of the story, time unfortunately cannot be rewritten. I will say though, when you replay the series, you can see some direct and indirect inspirations to other games. Whether it be comedic cringeworthy characters akin to Borderlands, or time travel mechanics that we've seen from Titanfall, or just some of the various different game modes that have been in most first-person shooters these days, like a virus mode or infection as it's now called, or assault mode, which is very similar to Rush that's been in Battlefield for years. There is even a zombie horde mode, which I completely forgot about until I played it again. I could go on and on, to be honest. There is just so much variety. It's just a series that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that transmits to the player experience as well. I think we need more of that in games today. As far as the platinum trophies go for each game, the hardest part is honestly just the controls. But luckily you can customize the button mapping to make it easier. As these games are classic games, you can always take advantage of the rewind function to give yourself that extra edge. I managed to complete all 3 games in under 30 hours, and if you're good at FPS games, you should have no trouble hitting that mark, or maybe even beating it once you are familiar with the controls. If you've never played the series before, I would really recommend it. Maybe just start with Future Perfect though, as the controls for the first 2 games may be off-putting for some, but the third game is a much more fleshed out experience that still holds up today minus the dated graphics. If you've gotten this far into the video, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Your viewership is greatly appreciated. I really enjoyed revisiting this series and making this video, and I hope that came across in the edit. Let me know in the comments what video game series you are hoping makes a comeback. It's always interesting to see where people's journey into video games began, whether it be games from this era or before or after. I am planning on uploading more platinum videos every 3 weeks or so, depending on my editing skills. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to watch out for the next one. Speaking of developers that seem to have a lot of fun whilst making games, why don't we take a little trip to Hawaii next?
Yeah!